Hello, welcome to Sue's Foods, and today I'm going to show you how I make this sticky spiced gingerbread. It's absolutely gorgeous. So for this recipe you're going to need some butter. You can swap this out for vegan butter and make the whole cake vegan because there's no eggs or anything in it. So butter, black treacle, plain flour. You need bicarbonate soda and some baking powder. You need cinnamon and ginger, and you'll need 300 mils of boiling water, so pop your kettle on. And for the topping you're going to need some icing sugar and joyful ginger if you like. This is just a crystallized ginger that you can buy in the baking section. You could also use sprinkles or anything like that, just what you want. And aside from weighing scales, you're going to need a pan. You're going to need a large bowl, a big bowl, and a wooden spoon. That's quite important that it's not a plastic spoon. You need a baking tray, a baking tin, doesn't really matter what shape, which you're going to line with greaseproof paper. Rip a bit off, screw it up, get rid of all of this, open it up and line your tin with it. Trim the excess off if you wish. Okay, so into the pan, we'll just set that. You're going to put 130 grams of butter. That'll do. And into that you're going to put 330 grams of treacle. Now, I like to heat my spoon up so the treacle comes off quicker. Normally, if I'm at home, I do it on the gas hob, I just heat it up, but I'm not at home. And this is an electric hob, so I'm going to just dip it in some hot water straight out of the kettle. Let that spoon warm up a little bit. I'll just get that back to 0. And when that's warm, 330 grams of the treacle on top of that butter. That should just slide off now. Just a little bit more. And that'll do. Lovely. Right, we're going to get this onto the hob to melt. And we're just going to melt that down slowly until that butter's melted in with the treacle. Meanwhile, we're going to get all the dry ingredients ready. So back to the scales. I'm going to measure out 375 grams of plain flour. Into that we're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. We're going to add in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1, 2, I know there was a bit extra. And 3 teaspoons of ginger. 1, 2, 3. I'm quite generous with my amounts. Right, we're going to give that a stir. Make sure it's all nice and evenly distributed. Make sure your kettle's on for your hot water. I've got my 300 ml of water straight from the kettle. My treacle mix has melted and we're just going to dump it all in with this flour, hence the wooden spoon. If it was a plastic spoon, you might melt it. So, wooden spoon, we're going in with the treacle. That goes in. We're going in with the hot water. That'll activate that bicarbonate soda and you'll see that it'll just puff up. So we're just going to stir that. We don't want to beat it because you don't want to splash yourself with this hot liquid. But we need to stir it until all that flour has gone. There's no white spots. And when it starts coming off the edge of the bowl like that, you can start to give it a better mix. Just check you've got no white spots. And pour that into your lined tray. Should come out nice and clean. Much to the annoyance of those waiting to lick out the bowl. Just spread it about a little bit. If it's a deeper cake, because you've got a smaller cake tin, you're just going to give it a little bit longer in the oven. But this is going in for about 35 to 40 minutes. Gas mark 4, which I think is about 160, 180 fan oven, which I hope it is because that's what I'm using today. So into the oven with that, and we'll have a look at it in just over half an hour. And I'm just going to check that it's cooked by sticking, I haven't got a skewer, not here. I'm just going to stick a knife in, and if it comes out clean, your cake's cooked. So it is clean and the cake's cooked and it's nice and springy on the top. I'm going to take it out of this tin so it can cool down quicker. And just pop it onto that wire rack to cool. How nice does that look? So just leave that to cool, then come back. So we'll just prepare the icing. We need 250 grams of icing sugar. That'll do. It doesn't matter if you're a bit over, you just get a bit more icing. I'm going to chop up some of this ginger ready, but if you're using other things, you can just have that ready. I mean, this is delightful. If you've ever eaten this just on its own, it's gorgeous. Anyway, just chop that up into smaller chunks. Just pop that to one side, ready to sprinkle when we need it. And you just need a little bit of water, and you're going to add it just little bit by little bit. If you add too much, just add some more icing sugar. Make it thicker. So you can just give it a stir, and what you're looking for is a nice, thick, gloopy consistency. So that's starting to thicken up quite a bit, so I know that I need just a touch more water. That might be a little bit too much, we shall see. Yeah, just a little bit too much there, so I'm going to add in some more icing sugar. I mean, this could become a vicious circle, adding in icing sugar, adding water, adding icing sugar. But just keep going till you've got a nice, thick, gloopy consistency. Too thin and it's going to run right off your cake. Too thick and it's not going to spread very well. But that is just about right. And when your cake's a wee bit cooler, I'm going to pop it back into the tin so the icing doesn't run everywhere. Get your icing slapped on and just spread it about there, just so it kind of catches right to the end. It's okay if it looks a bit rustic. We like rustic looking food. Or should I say scruffy? Okay. And now all I'm going to do is cover it with my chopped joyful ginger. And this stuff really does make a difference. It's so lovely. But I always chop too much. I think that's so I can eat loads afterwards. We'll put plenty on. Great. Just leave it to cool. And there we are, all ready to cut up. Actually, it's a bit warm and the icing's running, but you know, who cares? And there we have a super moist, sticky, gorgeous gingerbread with a thick icing and some joyful ginger. So let's give it a taste test. It's fudgy, it's gorgeous, it just looks lovely. And there's never much left in this house once these are made. So let's give it a taste test. It's a really rich, deep, fudgy gingerbread. And that little crystal ginger topping on the top gives it a nice fiery little kick. Lovely. Anyway, give it a go. Let me know what you think.